Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Slipping Out. In this one we'll be taking a look behind the scenes of the game 1080 Snowboarding. It's been snowing here recently in the UK, so I thought, you know what, it is old but it is gold, and still to this day one of my favourite snowboarding games, so let's give it a go. As always, we'll be taking a look out of bounds and at some developer tricks that have been used, and also some Easter eggs that you may never have seen before, even after all this time. Also, if you're interested in your tech, I'll be showing a quick review of the Lepow portable monitor later in the video. So to start this one off, we're inside the log cabin on the rider select screen, and there are a couple of details I wanted to show here. One of them being this neon sign that we only ever really get to see the corner of due to the restraints on the camera movement. It is of course the classic red Nintendo logo. Weird how they didn't put this in a more visible position. And just in case you ever wanted to see the full cabin as one, then here it is. Also, you may not realise that the burning fire is a separate texture from the fireplace itself, and this is just in front of the camera, with Kenshu Kimachi behind it. I'll talk more about why he appears to be in front of the texture shortly. One other thing I quickly want to cover whilst we're in this location is a detail about the character Rob Haywood, who I didn't realise would have eyes behind his shades. I genuinely thought his shades would just be part of his face texture, but as you can see, they are separate, which I was pretty surprised by, but it's a nice little detail. Alright, let's take to the slopes now and look at some of the level design and hidden secrets, starting with the skyboxes. Now, even though it may appear that the skyboxes in older games such as this are quite far away and would cover the whole level as they do in modern games, it's actually quite the opposite. In fact, the skyboxes are rather small and often surround only the section of map that's loaded, mainly being tied to either the character position or the camera position. And if you're wondering why we could see Kenshu in front of the fire texture, that's because of something called a Z buffer, which in this case renders objects and assets such as the characters and the map terrain in front of the skybox. Of course, it looks pretty bizarre from this angle, however works really well from the normal camera positions. Now in this case, the position of the skybox is tied to the normal camera position, and a good example of this is if we take a look at one of the animations after completing a championship round. So at this point the camera would normally be fairly close to the ground, and as we can see the skybox is still underneath the map. However, as the camera rises up and we get this text on the screen, if we take the camera away from its normal position now, we can see how the skybox has also risen and appears to be floating above the map. Some other neat developer tricks that we've also seen in previous episodes of Slipping Out include the memory saving tricks, such as how this N-Cube isn't all it appears to be. Literally. And also, how do these reflections work whilst on the ice? Well, developers certainly didn't have ray tracing and other graphical enhancements back in the day, so they had to get creative. Here we can see how Rob Haywood's full character mesh is replicated underneath the map. One of my favourite Easter eggs, not only from this game, but probably ever, has to be this reference that can be found on the Coast Mountain Village. If this isn't an Easter egg in reference to the classic British comedy TV show Mr. Bean, then I don't know what is. There is also another Easter egg on Golden Forest that's particularly easy to miss.
Hey!
Pretty sure I've seen this chap and his canine friend on another classic Nintendo racer.
Ready? Go!
Whilst we're here on Golden Forest, did you ever look back and think, what is up there behind the start line? I certainly did, and although it looks like the forest continues up along a trail, it's again a developer trick and optical illusion. And just in case you were wondering if there is anything out of bounds at the start lines of some of the other courses, including Dragon's Cave, which I was always curious to see what was behind the building, just to satisfy that need-to-know desire that you may have had for all these years, then I thought I might as well show it, although there isn't really much to see. However, one of my favourite start lines is on the very first course, where if we take a look back, we can find a building with some spectators in front of it. Now, back then you kinda had to use your imagination and not see spectators for what they were, which is just 2D textures that are repeated over and over again, basically throughout the whole game. Like here on the halfpipe course for instance, we can find the very same spectators. Except for this one. Green and blue overalls? That's gotta be Luigi, right? And I guess where Luigi is, we should be able to find Mario. And look, here he is!
It's me, Mario!
Now, I genuinely didn't know the Mario Bros were hidden in the spectators in this game up until making this video, and I've been playing it since, well, 22 years ago. However, there may be a good reason for that. If you've ever played the original N64 version, the picture quality isn't exactly the best compared to modern standards, and it's actually pretty hard to see the spectators clearly. I also couldn't seem to find any reference to the Mario Bros appearing in this game on the more popular gaming websites and videos that I've watched. Of course I can't be 100% sure on this, but from the research I have done, I've certainly never seen this before. So maybe this is the first time this Easter egg has been referenced in 22 years. Which, if that's correct, is pretty awesome. At the beginning of the video I mentioned that I was sent this portable monitor by Lepow. No script to follow, I was just told to give an honest review. It is good, really good in fact. The specs are more than ideal for using consoles whilst either on the move or away from home, and with 15.6 inches of screen to work with, it's more than adequate for playing your library of games, or hooking up your mobile phone and searching for your favourite YouTubers. It was easy to set up straight out the box and also included the accessories you may need. The only problems I found with the mains adapter that came in this particular box was for the US sockets. Not much good for here in the UK, but converters are cheap enough at only £1 or £2. Also, the speakers were slightly on the tinny side at louder volumes, but on a portable monitor at the lower end of the price range, I really wouldn't have expected anything more. At least it does have speakers, and the option of using headphones is always available. Overall, I'm impressed. It's solid and looks the part too. If you are looking for a portable monitor, then this is definitely a great option. Check out the description for more details. So there we go, that is it for this episode of Slipping Out. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button to support the channel. If I don't see you on social media, then I hope to catch you at the next video. But until then, as always, take care.